Avengers. West Coast Avengers.
There's only one mantra that you all need to know. That's that one over there. See Todd, bye Todd.
And now, young Skywalker, you will die. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to a chat and chill on the West Coast Wednesday. Trying to get that glare at my eye. All right, let's see. That should do it. There we go. I'm learning. I'm still learning. 3 years in, and I'm still learning. I hope everybody's doing well tonight, as well as humanly possible. God damn it. It's been a week. It's been more than a week. It's been 45 years here, but I'm glad that you're all with me tonight. Let's say hello to some friends before we kick off some talking and some showing and some telling. Tyler, my Pope of the Wrench. Yay. It's like every time I go here, wait, hold on. Let's just, it gets distracting, okay? All right. Hello. It is me, yes, David Davenger. Thank you to the next person I'm going to mention for that new nickname. Well, it's a combined thing. But Sean, hello, my friend. And Jamie, you are welcome to call me David Davenger. Big shout out to Jamie. Jamie actually is not just the producer of such hit YouTube shows as Ink Pulp and Miller Time, but the last 2 episodes of Ink Pulp, Sean, Crystal, Jim, Mafood, Mateo, Dumb Shark, Scalera, they interviewed Jamie and they all had a big talk about social media and YouTube and podcasting and comics. It's 2 hours of fantastic discussion, so I can't recommend it enough. Plus, there's more humor in there that is distasteful, and it's my favorite type of humor. Off-color humor. What's up, Andy? Brother from the other side of the Cascades. Adam Latta? Oh, yeah, Adam. Once again, thank you. I fucking won something for once. I won the Peach Momoko Spawn cover from a giveaway that Adam was running on Reddit. So thank you for that. What's up, brother? Are you drawing in the house? Other brother, Derek Neiman. Mr. I'm not Mexican. I'm New Mexican. What up? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it and show it off tonight. It did, yes. Chris was the person who gave me the nickname, and now it's there. David Davenger. Hail to the chat. He is the one they all say hail to. Yeah, exactly. Not the other type of hail, which it was. Oh, yeah, that's right. Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. This is a old school Dave Korea shirt. I'm wearing double Dave duty tonight because that's Dave's hoodie and that's Dave's shirt. And one of Dave's books is up there, the Zero Friends book. I'll never not advertise Mr. David Korea. New York in the house, my bad. Tampa in the house, feels like New York. Yeah, I'm going to Florida, and although Orlando's not Tampa, it's stupid cold there, but comparatively, it's also like 35 degrees here in Washington. So, oh yes, Jamie, I had a blast watching those 2 episodes. I was also commenting along, like verbally watching it, be like, yeah, I agree, or there's something else I would say to this, but I wasn't on the episode, so fuck me, right? Congrats, yes, thank you. And hello to Mr. Comic Tropes all the way from Nihon, Japan, and I hope you have a fantastic time from Hawaii to Japan. Daniel Goodwin in the house. What's up? Oh, of course, Dave. I still want to do a version of this shirt where we have fake tour dates on back. Maybe it could be a Avengers road trip shirt. It's -2 in Western New York. You live in Canada, Tyler. Stop telling people you live in Western New York. That's why it's so cold there. Daveception. And if you guys are wondering why those 2 books are up there, well, it's a little hint as to the next guest I already recorded with on Direct Edition. Let's talk about Direct Edition for a moment. My podcast about nothing and everything. This week, my guest was the esteemed Scheme Richards, who is a DJ, a collector, the Nostalgia King. He is a ramen and burger enthusiast. Just a great guy. And we had a great 2-hour discussion about a lot of different subjects, but a lot of it revolved around comics and collecting and the history of his DJ career, a lot of hip hop talk. I had a fantastic time with Scheme, and I can't wait to do it again. What will probably happen is we're going to do a taping, and if our schedules line up and we're both in Japan this year at the same time, we'll record another podcast then. Real tour dates. Ooh, there we go. The syrup zealots. Listen, I'll take Canada over the US any day. Yes. Scheme is a cool ass dude. But yes, my guest next week on the podcast is none other than Alex Pardee, and love talking to Alex. I've known Alex just a little bit longer than I've known Dave, but we have a great conversation. If you don't know Alex, you should get to know Alex Pardee. Yes. Yeah. I'll say this, and the wide-ranging thing that I kind of want to talk about tonight is like all the things, a lot of it was inspired by this Ink Pulp podcast, 2 episodes that Jamie did with Sean and Mateo. But I wanted to kind of dive into the things that I do, and I'm not looking for like a woe is me thing, just to talk about how much I'm putting into this and the mental toll that it takes. Coming off like a really, really hard month for me since getting back from Japan. I think it was a long-term jet lag mixed with some really bad anxiety that led to some really fucked up depression. And it's all wrapped into like being the master of your own domain, I guess, whatever. And like the owner of my own business, but also the stress that comes along with it. Yes. Typing with mittens sucks. Sorry, Marsh, but you live in Canada, just like Tyler. That is right. Woe is you. And I bought a huge collection this week, like a monster collection that, to be honest with you, like I don't regret buying it, but man, it's so much more work than it might end up being worth. To the tune of like 40, somewhere between 40 and 45 boxes. I think about 7 or 8 of them was long boxes, and the rest were short boxes. I'm going to show off a couple of things that I got in there. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me post some of the rare hardcovers that I got from it and art books, but we'll get into that in a bit. I hope y'all have been watching the Japan videos. This week's video with Sean was one of my favorites that I've shot, and I love that it has that cohesion. If you watch this channel for long enough, I do like a little bit of continuity, much like in the comic books. I like the fact that it was a 2-part series and it left off with a cliffhanger, and we did the recap. But I had a great time with that, and it's one of those things that like I'm very confused why that video is not doing better than it should, because of the fact that the one that Sean put on his channel did twice as good as mine. And I still like trying to figure it out. And we're at a dark age right now with the algorithm, being that the new regime, the Fourth Reich regime, is now stacked to the decks with all these tech oligarchs, and people are seeing stuff like, oh, you're following JD Vance right now, and you're following Melania. Like, what? And so the algorithm right now is working against the human race. And so YouTube might be the only thing left that still feels a little bit free, because there's less of a social media and more of a, like, watch this video. Oh, well, that's nice to hear it, Paul. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, I mean, the Japan trip was great. I have more Japan videos rolling out, but this weekend you're going to see this collection video, which Joe shot, and I already saw the first draft of it, and it's hilarious. Like, I bought this collection and from his storage locker, brought it back to my garage, where there is not a ton of insulation, so it's kind of cold in there, which is fine for comics. Cold storage is great with no humidity or no moisture. And you watch this video, and I definitely, there's a descent into madness as I'm going through this stuff. It's one of my most untethered, unhinged videos in a long time. Yeah, I saw that, Johnson. Thanks for watching. Yeah, that hard boiled. I did not expect to find it. I knew it existed, but I did not expect to find it. Blue Sky remains free for now. You know, I was on Blue Sky like a year ago, and it was Twitter. Like, it was Twitter. It wasn't as, toxic as Twitter. And I was just like, it doesn't have, it doesn't, I'm only using social media now to promote the business. I no longer have any interest in being a part of social media personally because it doesn't serve me toxic doom scrolling. But promoting this is the only way I can get more people in because it's my business, but it's also what I love doing. Maybe I'll rejoin Blue Sky, but for now I'm trying to scale back. I don't understand the Sean. Uh-oh, Sean got taken out by Elon or Zuckerberg or one of them mid-comment. My feed's on all platforms, YouTuber. Yeah. The it's all headed on a downturn. But the thing is what I want to continue to do here with both West Coast Avengers and Direct Edition is to foster this community space where you guys can sit in the chat and like we'll chat, you chat amongst yourselves. I do have to focus on making sure that I make a living just like we all do. I mean, that's inherent. We have to survive, and it's getting increasingly harder to survive when the rich get richer and the rest of us get poorer. But I still want to provide good books for people, good interviews for people, and good content that, maybe a little bit unhinged, but will never be at least toxic or negative, But no, Mike, I'm me, and it's never going to not be focused on who I am. And like, I won't shut up, especially the next 4 years. I will not shut up because what I see is what I learned about as a Jewish kid growing up about the Holocaust. That's what I see, and what I read about in books like in the Garden of Beasts, the Garden of Beasts. I see those blueprints, and I will not shut up. I come from a very long history of people that raised me that have at least a question everything / punk mentality, and it'll never not be that. So there will never be a point where I'm just like, blinders. But I do love what comics gives us because it truly is a great escape into a fictional world filled with art and creations by other people. AI is going to allow humans to work less hours a week. I don't know how we'll make money. Yeah, that is pretty fucking nasty. Yeah, AI. Well, isn't that the fucking, that is the plot of Terminator. They built an AI and then it killed us. James Cameron actually has been pretty forward thinking for his entire lifetime. So maybe we should take a little cue from him. Science fiction is just people kind of like laying the seeds for what eventually happens. Asimov did it. All the great science fiction writers did it because like Kirby did it. Kirby was putting stuff down in comics that looked like it was the future, but here we are. I don't understand the algorithm. Comic tropes almost always pops up on my feed. I love it, but never really followed Chris until now. Yeah, I there are some, like the Todd McFarlane interview obviously sailed in the algorithm. Like that is by far my biggest piece of content to date, which makes sense because this channel is heavily focused on, or my love of his. And then when I did the top 10 McFarlane covers, that went flying. My Portland store video still gets great views, and I get messages from people, and I've talked to a lot of the store owners that I didn't know before I made that video, and they've all, like a lot of them have thanked me for making that video because it brought people into those stores. And that's what I'd love to do with those store videos. Whenever I put somebody or something on this channel, it is because I love it and I want other people to experience it, whether it is, bestiality. I mean, whether it is, Jack Kirby or Todd McFarlane or digging comics in Scotland. Like, I am not doing it because any other reason than to bring comics and that experience to people. It makes sense we all live the plot of Terminator since we just lived the plot of the Phantom Menace. Kala, on a side note, I escape in pre-hero Marvel books. So yeah, there are none. No Golden Age. Golden Age is becoming increasingly harder to find. And the thing is with Golden Age, I've tried to sell some of that more expensive stuff raw, and it doesn't move. And so I'm forced to get it graded, and then it sells. Brian, 100%. Do not agree more. I mean, I can't agree more. And I loved the fact of like talking about escapism and giving everybody things to escape into, but can't escape the reality that we need to watch out for each other. When you have the richest man on the planet doing a Nazi salute at an inauguration, it's kind of concerning. I can still hear the creaky door in Portland. Yeah, the future dreams. A lot of it falls on us, the audience, as well. It's why it's so important to like, comment, subscribe. If you aren't, those things make a huge difference. This is true. And look, no, I don't think he was just waving hello. I know that all my content is not mainstream. I know the stuff that is and stuff that isn't. I know Comic Tim is for the cult followers, and I don't mean like a drink the Kool-Aid cult. I mean like a cult movie, like a Bad Taste or Dead Alive. But what I do, it does baffle me sometimes when like I post something and it's like, oh, shorts are big, and I post a short and 4 people see it. Or the Japan video, it's like I have 5,000 plus subscribers and only 1,000 people watched it. And I know that's, it's just playing the averages and it's all that. But I try to bring stuff that I find interesting or, enjoyable. This Friday, some of you have already seen this video because I did start the new Davenger newsletter, which is, I look at it, a lot of people do Patreons and I understand that. And a lot of people do, some type of paywall service. Yeah, it was multiple, Adam. Yeah, multiple. So, okay, I'll get to that in a second. Let me talk about the newsletter, Joe. So the newsletter went out because I wanted to kind of like bring something to you that the algorithm, it does not matter. And that's an email direct to your inbox, 1 per quarter, so 1 a season, with a little update, promoting something, and then a free video, whether it's something that will go out to the public and you're getting it a couple weeks early, or something that never gets posted on my YouTube page, but you can have it because you people are, the email addresses I have are from people that have either registered to buy books or have bought books from me via my form. And so that was my way of saying like, hey, I'm not going to put it behind a paywall, but it's technically behind like a you're my customer wall. And so this Friday, I'm going to drop the Barry Windsor Smith video that was in the email. And it's something that I discovered looking through 4 issues of Astonishing Tales, and it's the evolution of his art, where at the end of those 4 issues you see the Barry Windsor Smith that gets kind of formed via Bill Everett's inks. That's going to drop this Friday, and then every Friday, as long as it doesn't seem like it's taking away from the other videos, I'm going to drop a flip through video on Friday morning. It's going to be just Friday flip through, and it's just me flipping through a book, kind of like doing the kayfabe style thing, but it'll be something interesting or something very rare. The next video is going to be Amazing Spider-Man 3. I do a flip through of that Venom book with Sean. I do an Extremity, Art of Extremity hardcover flip through the Daniel Warren Johnson book. So stuff like that. And Joe, you asked about monetizing. So, and it maybe the future is just doing the monetization, maybe 1 ad per video, and then people can do the, the super chats and all that. But I've always, I hate advertisements, and I hate having to be forced to watch them. But I do understand that it might actually help bring my videos out to more people. I don't, like apparently YouTube says that it doesn't, but I don't trust any tech company or any company in general. So it might be something I do in the future, just on maybe some of the bigger videos, like longer videos, 1 ad right in the middle, and that's it. And I'll get back to that in a second. Brian said, on a positive note, I love your Japan content. I've been getting into manga after 40 years of collecting. Your Japan book hunter. You in Japan. Yes, me and Sean have been helping. Well, look, I owe a lot of my interest in manga to originally to Kayfabe, to Ed and Jim, and then befriending Sean and having Sean on the program, getting to talk to him, and then obviously going. And I don't think we have too much longer in American comics. I do think that the influence of manga is really going to take over because it's better than 90% of American comics. I gotta be, straight up. And I'll talk about something in a second with American comics. Joe, I hate it too, but it's always going to be the prerogative of YouTube to show ad-supported content or feeds. This is true. And the way I looked at it since the birth of this channel and since the claim sale started here is that my monetization comes from having the claim sales, which is my income, which is like, hey, you don't have to, like super chat. If you super chat somebody, I believe Google gets 30%. So if you send somebody $10 that they only get 7, and then after taxes, maybe they only get 5 and change. So I'm like, I'd rather just make the money through the book sales, but got to grow the channel. If the ad supports, if the ad supports the thing I like, then I'm glad to watch the ad, or ignore it, but let it play. Fair enough. I do the same. There are channels that I still like. Ink Pulp, they put ads in there, and Sean does ads in his monetization. So I understand it. It's just a personal thing, but I got to get over some of these things to help the channel grow. It's kind of like when I first started doing kind of not clickbait thumbnails, but clickbait leaning titles and thumbnails. It sucks because I hate it. And I'm not part of that generation that falls for clickbait. I'm 45. I grew up understanding what a junk mail is and understanding what, before robocalls, like a sales call. But I also had to get over the fact that I have to play the game. And it sucks, but there is games you have to play. Otherwise, you just have to live in a cabin in the woods by yourself, never clipping your toenails, never shaving, never bathing, and being Theodore Kaczynski. So, good evening, Robert. Sir Robert McCallum of the Toronto Scots. There we go. Well, all right. Experiment A/B test ads. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Why I sold the thumbnail for this weekend is I bought the whole collection, and it's me standing with the boxes with the storage lockers in the background. So getting back to the American comics thing, I got to say, I read last week, I bought that Rogue Savage Land book. I bought 2 copies. One, the Adam Hughes foil to get signed at OAX, and then the X-Men animated variant. I'm like, let me try it. I haven't read an X-Men book in a long time, although I've been reading Wolverine Revenge, which is great. I made it like 10 pages into that, maybe 8 pages into that Rogue book, and just put it down. Unintelligibly plotted. It made no fucking sense. The story beats made no. I was just like, what is this? And yet, I read a lot of indie books, and I'm reading The Moon Is Following Us issue 5, and it's amazing. It's heartbreaking and amazing. And it's just like American comics. It's not just the diamond. It's the comics. It's the comics. It's that Marvel and DC do well. DC cares. DC's better. Marvel doesn't give a shit about telling good stories anymore. They don't. Okay, well, there we go. Yeah, I was thinking about getting YouTube Premium one day instead of the other thing. I bought the whole collection, emotional, not clickbait. It's very true. It was pretty emotional. Tokyo Coast Avengers. Konnichiwa, Derek. As my channel grows and more people show up to your sales, would you have to do more sales and more often? No, Brian. The hopes is that as the channel grows, I can scale back to one major sale every month or once every 3 weeks, do bigger things like Davenger Con without a problem, and then do like two-day sales and stuff like make everything feel a little bit more special and bring out better, just bigger and better. I don't mind. Like we're in the very early stages of prepping Davenger Con, which is going to be the first weekend of April. And I don't mind that I know like the next 4 days after Davenger Con, I'm just going to be in this room shipping. Shipping actually relaxes my brain. extremely, it's like a puzzle, and puzzles help me. Um, but like the 2-week grind, and here's one of the most stressful things about what I do, Brian, is like I have to make sure that I get people into the sales every 2 weeks, right? With that, the preview has to be like, okay, there's some really interesting books in there. Full, like full disclosure, the ASM3 was in there because I thought, okay, here's a big marquee book that you don't see people selling. To do that every 2 weeks, I got to make sure I'm always buying collections, and it just kind of like stresses me out. And that's where I was in the last month after coming back from Japan and like doing the big Japan sale. I'm like, man, I haven't bought a collection in a while, and man, like the last month, I was sleeping average 5 hours a night, average, and it like drove me to the point of like really really deep fucking depression. Like it fucked my head up because lack of sleep will do that to a human quicker than any substance you can take. Um, I've gone through a couple bouts of it in my life where something was going on, and I was like 3 weeks of like near insomnia, and it does drive a person to really terrible thoughts. Which I would never act on, but it's just like, man, I was like, I can't sell comics anymore and all this. Um, yeah, well, Tyler, for the most part, the early 2000s, still the best storytelling era of Marvel. Bendis, Miller, Ennis, all those guys. It was some of the best storytelling comics history. Yeah, well, and the thing is, as you guys have seen some of the people I've bought on this program, one of the people I love to prop up a lot is Jeremy Heiler. Um, there are creators that are making some great stuff. Jim Mafood's about to ship out in the next, I think, month, the Savage Street Vigilante, and like there are great creators making great stuff. It's just away from the mainstream. And that's kind of the vibe of this channel and has been from the beginning is like, sure, I talk Todd. Todd is more mainstream than anything. These days, actually, he's not. But I want people to be reading stuff that is off the beaten path. That, John, I've heard that from multiple sources, and it might be the way to go since I spend most of my time here anyway. Konnichiwa. Hey, there he is, Andrew P. All right, guys, let's talk about this real quick. Many more faces of Jack Kirby. We got our APs, we got our Andrew Ps. The pre-order is official. You can go on my website, hit the form. It sends me a message. $25 for the matte or for the glossy. You let me know what you want. I can ship it separate, so it'd be $30 total. And we're going to look at it in a little bit, just a little bit. The last Marvel I read was Fractions, Hawkeye, and King's Vision. That was it was about 10 years ago for both of those. Both fantastic, both like beautiful art too, like not just the storytelling, but fantastic art as well. There's not a better seller out there, to be honest. Well, and that's the thing, like Washington weather gets to you. No, see, I don't, it's interesting. I don't really mind the gray or the cold, the wet. It actually has never really affected me. Growing up in New York, like we got really bad weather every winter, and every summer was too hot and humid. None of that here. None of that. So it's more of stress and anxiety. Yeah, I wish my LCS doesn't have it, and if they do, they don't carry many copies. I want to go back to this, White Arts. I for most of you people that know or don't know, I started selling comics on Instagram, doing the live sales. But when they started limiting my time to 60 minutes for no reason, I was like, all right, I got this YouTube channel. Let's take the core and bring them over here. I watched a lot of claim sales, and I still watch a lot. There's one or two people that I think do it great, and that's about it. I am vying not just for your business, but I'm vying for your attention. I can't. I joked, whatever that was last sal, where I was like, "All right, well, here's one book." Not only do I get through the books, but I want to talk about the books, and I know what's going on with the books. And it's not just about keys; it's about the art team. It's about the significance. It's about why I like it, why I picked it out for sale. But when it comes to customer service, I've only had like 2 or 3 problems, and one of them popped up last week. I won't talk about it because it was something that I missed on a book. It's my fault. And I needed to make it right, and I made it right immediately. And the person hopefully is still happy. I never want somebody to buy a book from me and say, this isn't what Dave said it was. I want everybody that buys books from me to be like, this is better than Dave said. This is cheaper than I could have gotten it anywhere else and convenient. I'm never trying to take away from people's LCS. I don't do new books. Every once in a while, I'll get rid of something that I bought for myself that's new. Like I sold my Absolute Superman 1 and 2 because I'll buy it in trade. I want you to go to your LCS. Not every LCS and most LCSs don't have a great back issue selection. So that's why I focus on the weird stuff, the rare stuff, and just kind of the back issues. I want you to be happy across the board, condition, price, and shipping. Shipping is a thing for me. Like I said, it relaxes my brain. But it's also, I want it out. I still, no matter how big of a house I would ever have, I'll never have enough room for this inventory. It's not possible. You'd have to have an entire house of comics. So I wanted to get it out because that also helps me. It relieves me. It says, okay, time to grab another box, sort it, and put it in the rooms, So I want you to have an all-around great experience. I wish that everybody could buy from me, but, still, I get 60 to 80 people in every Wednesday, and I have a great customer base. You don't have to buy something to enjoy. You can watch my content for free. If you want to support with a zine or a shirt, whatever, you can. But I know that I can provide top-notch service across the board, and that's my goal. What's up, brother? Mr. Collector in the house. Marvel hits on occasion still. Blind Snow, Find Truffles. Yeah, Tradmore stuff and Doom. Yeah, the Hickman and Sanford Green book was really good. Beautiful book. It was better art than it was story, but that's okay. And Tradmore is a god. Or he's some type of weird alien, actually. That's the absolute truth, White Arts. Before I found David, bounced around and stuck with a few sellers, came across Dual Sale. Yeah. And there I am. And here we are. And you're the Pope of Wrenches. And pricing is always a sticky situation for me because I try to make sure that the price and grade reflect it. Plus, I have to remember, like, there is market. Like, I'm not going to sell something that's $100 across the board for $75 because there's also that. And we'll get into that in a second. House of M was great, but yeah, that was 25 years ago. So, Bendis. Thank you. And me and Derek have talked on the phone. I feel like Derek is somebody that I've spiritually known for my whole life. We were destined to know each other. 125 book for 35 Black Panther in the early FF. That's pretty cool. That's old Kirby stuff. You can't beat it. What up, Johnny? Johnny Mnemonic. You're not just top notch seller, you're top. Well, look, I try. I mean, I may be a little outspoken on certain things, and I may be a Jar Jar Binks fan, but that doesn't make me a bad person. Condition knowledge, yeah. That's the thing. Like my spot grading got so good that it surprised me. I mean, when I knew I made it was when I got that ASM 14 in that collection, and I'm on video looking through the book and saying, yeah, it's probably a 9.2. And boom, it came back a 9.2. Like, that's when I knew that I knew my shit confidently enough to never question it internally. Jeff the Land Shark. Yummy. So anyway, what was I getting to? Oh, yeah. And look, sometimes I'm just very firm on the prices that I sell because I don't see, it's more of a problem on Instagram where, like, I'll do like a pop-up sale, and this is what I used to face on Instagram, where I'll put something up and a post, and it's like, look, I get it. Like, everybody wants a deal, but if you go look at the prices that I'm selling this stuff at, I'm already baking the deal in. I don't do that thing where it's like, oh, this book sells for 40, so I'm just going to ask 50, and someone's going to say, give it to me for 40. No, this book sells for 40. I'll just make it 35. And you've already saved your $5. I very much understand that, like, we're not all made of money, but here's a little what's the word I'm looking for? Transparency on the Tokyo trip. I flew across the world, right, to go on vacation, but also to explore, to buy, and bring back. That vacation without the peach cover, because that was a buy that was like, okay, Dave, you need to buy something for yourself. Um, and then I did buy a lot of stuff, but I spent close to $8,000 on that trip, and that includes flight, hotel, and then all of the stuff I bought. And my thought process is like, I'm also helping people. Like, if you were to buy some of the books that I had on eBay, you might get the same price, right? But then you're paying shipping is going to be anywhere between $19 and $25, and then tax. There's only what, like 2 states in the country or 4 states in the country where it's tax free. There's no reason why I should lower my prices. I'm already making it affordable and cheaper than anywhere else. And I flew over to get it. And you get to see the videos of where I found it. So it's like, oh, I watched him take that off a shelf. And a lot of times I don't care. I'll talk about what I paid for something because like you are not going to be able to get it cheaper. You're not going to be able to go over to Mandarake and pay $20 for a book that I sold to you for 40. Otherwise you would. So I'm always happy to give people deals, but I'm more likely to just bake it in and and not everybody has the time on a claim sale. And I understand this. And I go through this mental process because I care so much about what I do and who is buying from me. It's not just like a fucking, oh, pay me, fuck you, we're never talking again. Most of you have talked to me on DM or email, and I'm usually not too busy to reply. Recently, the last 30 days, I have decided that I have to pull back on some of the DMs I get because it gets overwhelming, and this is my job, and I can't engage with every single thing. It's just too much, especially with everything else going on in the world. If we were living in a place where everybody gets a free puppy dog and free health insurance, and they don't have to worry about getting sick, and they don't have to worry about their rent going up, 10% I would be like, yo, fuck it. Why don't you come over and look through all the books? I don't care. Can I hunt for most likely no. That is something that I probably won't do because, and I'll tell you why. I had 15 people ask me to find this, that, and the other thing for them when I was in Japan. It would make me not enjoy my trip. If I see something and like you said it to me in the past and it comes off like here's an example. I had 2 people ask me for the Moon Knight manga, which I didn't know it existed. To me, trying to find that was actually fun, fruitless, completely fruitless, but a lot of fun because it's like hidden in this weekly magazine from 1979. It's fruitless. I went, Chris Pierce, Comic Tropes, told me about the Jaws manga. And I said, if I find 1, I got to keep it. If I find 2, I'd be happy to get him 1 because it's something I want anyway. But no, searching for specific stuff, it's just too much. Like in this country, it's easy. I don't have to do any, I don't have to do anything. You tell me like, hey, Dave, I'm looking for Fantagor #1 first print. Sure, I have one. When I see one, I'll buy it. And then you can buy it from me. Yes, you have to have clothes. Yeah. No naked DMs. It's always a guy in Japan that Dave knows who can hunt down rare manga for you. Yes, Sean is the person you contact. And I get that. I know you want but the thing is like I don't know what I'm looking at for the most part, and it's just like I don't want to feel responsible for that and then be like, oh no, I didn't find it. If I see something and I say something, but next time you just kind of, if you send a request to Sean is the person that can look for it. But for me, it's a little bit tougher because I know a lot less. Oh, sorry. I'm surprised no one bootlegged the Moon Knight considering, Dan, it's interesting because I've talked to somebody else about that and nobody has the full thing to bootleg it. I don't think that one Reddit post that has, some of it, I don't think anybody has the full 12. I think it's 12 issues and doing more research before I go there next time will give me a greater knowledge. If I keep doing this for a couple of years, every year, then I'll be able to hunt stuff for people specifically. But it's just it makes me feel responsible for something that I don't want to be responsible for. Another thing is to start specific and that's the thing, Tyler. I'm always happy to hunt stuff specifically for people here, or if I'm able to somewhere else. But the other thing is if I do it and you don't buy it, that's it. Like, you get one shot. It's very much like Eminem. You only get one shot. Do not miss this chance to blow. The opportunity comes once in a lifetime. What about Diecast? Josh, I entertained bringing back toys on this trip. It's not worth it. Like, you can only fit X amount of toys in a bag before that bag becomes useless and it weighs nothing. I brought back that one Godzilla toy because I was like, I'm either going to keep this or sell it. Because trust me, the toys there are out of this world. Out of this world. Some of that stuff is just amazing. But then it becomes, how much am I able to even mark it up to make profit? So if I ever found an affordable way to ship back, like not a container's worth, but like a pallet worth, and it makes sense, then I would go after some statues, toys, and stuff like that, because there's stuff that you will never see on these on these shores. Well, that's the thing. Also, if Sean can't find it, I don't have the knowledge. I mean, you're welcome to shoot me an email whenever I'm going next, so I can keep it in the email and tell me what you're looking for. That's another thing. If you ever want to send me want lists, email westcoastavengers.com. On my website, I have a folder that says customer want lists. If you put in a DM, it's gone. It's gone. Like, I get, and this is, imagine being somebody that actually is a famous person. I get like 25, 30 DMs a day. Imagine getting like 5,000. Would break my brain. Mike, I sold 2 of them last week. All right. Jacob's here again. All right. What were we talking about? Anxiety, stress, Nazis in the White House, comics, and this channel. All right. I want to show you guys something really cool. You guys know it's here. We're going to look at this real quick, and then we'll get back to talking about stuff. The new zine is out. We have our APs, our artist proofs. I'm bringing a bunch with me to OAX. Don't mind this. We're just going to pretend that that's not there. No. Oh, well. Many More Faces of Jack Kirby, doing 50 matte and 50 glossy. $25, 30 shipped, or 60 shipped for both. 30 shipped for one. First 50 orders is coming with this special print done by Keys and Grail's founder and resident artist Matthew Matt Ritchie Rat 1136. 50 prints. The King with the Galactus diamond heads. This is a print he did maybe a decade ago now, or 6 years ago. So we have 50 of these printed by the illustrious Dave. I'm not going to do a full flip through. I want people to discover this on their own merit, but end pages are fantastic. There's your opening 2-pager. Maybe I'll do a full flip through. This will make people want to buy it. We did our research again. We found some great pages, great panels from all different Kirby books. Lots of DC, lots of Marvel. You got 2 different versions of this. This was not recolored because this is the annual hardcover from the UK. They colored them a little bit differently. But once again, we're doing a portion of the proceeds is going to go to the Kirby Research Center and Foundation. And there's some horrifying panels in here. So you can go on my website. The link is in the description below for the specific page. All you got to do is send me a message. Hey, Dave, I'd like to pre-order the matte or the glossy or both. And I'll say, hey, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. And you could pay any of those ways, and they will be ready to ship I'm hoping so the next claim sale is going to be the first Wednesday in February. I'm hoping to have the pre-orders in and ready to ship that weekend so that you can combine both if you want. We're doing 50 of each. We're doing a reprint of a reprint of the first issue. We're only doing 25 of those. Once they're gone, they are gone. And so that is the Many More Faces of Jack Kirby. Like I said, first 50 orders will come with one of these exclusive Matt Ritchie King Kirby prints. Let's do a giveaway real quick because I want to say thank you for being a subscriber. I'm gonna give away all 3 books in hard boiled. Frank Miller, Jeff Darrow, one of the craziest books you'll ever see and read. Hashtag hard. Hashtag hard. And you are entered. Tyler, I have an idea for a McFarlane zine, but I don't want to put it out there yet because I want to keep it to myself. The only person that really knows is Andrew. Favorite Kirby cover? Ooh, that's tough. I mean, it's hard, Jacob. I think I got to go with the the one that speaks to us most, be Fantastic Four 49. I mean, it's possibly one of the greatest comic covers of all time. It is. It's definitely one of the greatest comic covers of all time. That and man, that's a tough one. I really like the first Demon issue. Fantastic Four 75, or is it 74 with the Surfer, the other Surfer cover? Feeling hard as fuck seeing these. Fantastic Four 72, that's the one, Dave. That's what I was thinking. Fantastic Four 72. Thor 160 is fantastic also. His Thor, he has a Thor cover. It's the first issue after Journey into Mystery that's like this just I forget what it is. Is that it's not Thor 160, is it? No, 160 is the Warlock cover, or no, Galactus cover. But the first issue where it becomes Thor, I always love that cover. It's got really cool color scheme to it. I'm running through like some covers in my head of Fantastic Four. I mean, most of his great covers come Fantastic Four, but Tales to Astonish #1 is a Kirby cover, I believe, and it's fantastic. The first Fin Fang Foom, is that Ditko or Kirby? I think it's Kirby. Uh-oh. Darrow makes me hard. Hashtag erect. All right, we got 24 entries. Jeff Darrow, Frank Miller. It's a 3-book series. It's one of the most brutally violent and hilarious books ever, period. We're going to do that giveaway in just a moment here. Let's pull it up on the screen. Hashtag hard. FF97 is my favorite. Love the family aspect on the beach with the monster lurking. I do know that cover. Yeah, that is a good one, Brian. Some of those, late period Fantastic Four right before Kirby was gone from the book are really good. He did Amazing Fantasy 15. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. You mean, hold on. Well, there's the big one, Derek. This came in that collection. This is the trade. I don't have a copy of this, but now I do. But I don't know if I need to keep it because how many copies of this book do I need? 51's great. Yeah, that's a great one. 52 is great too because, first appearance of Black Panther on the cover. 51 is great. I like 52, 50 also because 50's got that weird brown cover, which is so weird. All right, we're going to do it in 5 hard, 4 hard, 3 hard, 2 hard, 1 pause hard. All right, who can win the hard boiled? Apparently Derek Neiman has been shown like 4 times already. And hey, there he is, Aaron. All right, let me grab a Post-it so I can write that down for you, Aaron, my friend. Congratulations. I'm not going to be able to ship this until I get back from Florida, but you understand. And thank you, my friend. Congratulations. All right. Let's get the camera back here. Let's get rid of this and let's get rid of this. And we'll go back to me. Super valuable one is, yeah, that's the big damn hard boiled. Yeah, that one's super expensive. I've only seen it once. Greg, Captain Victory 1 is a great cover, but I will say the interiors of some of that book specifically has some crazy splash pages. That Captain Victory run is altogether very, very underrated. You got it, brother. Joe, there'll be more. There'll be more. All right, cool. I'll ship it in 2026. Yeah, no, wait. Ditko did the original cover. Kirby did the cover, yeah. No, I'm just going to go film. Technically I'm media, like I have a media pass, I believe. And like I'm probably get some interviews. Gonna just kind of chill out. I really need it. This last month has been really grueling on my brain. But yeah, I'm not bringing any art with me. I'll probably buy some stuff, but I don't plan on getting anything extravagant. I'm a little just burnt out on spending money right now. Am I muffled? Hello? Hello? How's it now? How am I doing? How am I doing? Am I underwater? Am I good? Okay. All right. Didn't Kirby introduce the big guns to comic art with Captain? I don't David, I'm not sure. I don't know what that means. Okay. Yeah, it was I think what happened was it flipped upside down. This thing's like actually kind of hard to like I put it on my shirt and it flops over and I put it in anyway. Yeah, it was flipped inside. Do I sell anything consignment? Yes, but it really has to be a favorable deal. Like, for example, I'll be transparent once again. Jim. Now this is not everything, but Jim Healy, who gave me his collection to sell, we're on a 50-50 consignment because I'm doing all the work. All he did was give me the books. I have another consignment person that's doing 40%. I picked up the books from him and I get 40%. It's mostly stuff that's been selling, Silver Age stuff. So it really depends because I don't really need to sell consignment, but if it's stuff that makes sense for me to sell, yes. Sorry, Tyler. New Gods is such a great cover. Dude, New Gods run is fantastic. I mean, the Fourth World stuff is undeniably amazing. It may not be the best like writing, but man, he was sailing like Royer doing something like a lot of those books. Damn. Kirby had like, isn't it Captain Victory on the cover had some big guns? Okay, so you meant like massive guns. I see. That makes sense. I thought you meant like metaphorically or something like that. I think one of the biggest inspiration on big guns, besides that, is obviously Elektra Assassin #1 because the fucking gun takes up like that much of the cover. Yeah, just shoot me an email. Yeah, shoot me an email. No problem. Easy. Email is definitely the best way to get my attention and keep my attention because social media doesn't want us to sit there and have our attention. They want our attention everywhere else. Shit, what was I gonna say? Subwoofer, consignment, New Gods. Yeah, Kirby's New Gods. It's interesting because there was up until I was doing this job, I didn't have access to a lot of Kirby stuff. And now I've probably had passed through my hands, with the exception of the first 4 Fantastic Four issues, the entire Fantastic Four run. A lot of pre-code hero stuff that I had like I had a Tales to Astonish #1 that sat here for a while until Andrew bought it. And so I've had some of that, but it's like amazing to see the evolution of the art and the 3, I had never had any of his Captain America stuff. But like he's had 3 completely different careers. Captain America creates it with Joe Simon, then he goes to war, comes back, starts the Marvel Age of Heroes, and then leaves Marvel and goes to DC and creates the Fourth World, and then like kind of like Fourth World into back to Marvel, then Captain Victory. And so I mean it's amazing to see the evolution of his career and get to see the 3 distinctive different parts of his career too. It's just the man. Absolutely such an amazing human and an amazing creator. West Coast Avengers at gmail.com or on my website. You can just go here. Let's take a look real quick right here because I wanted to present this. All right, so here's my website. Easy enough. When you go onto the front page, you'll get my most recent YouTube video. You can click this to go to the live sales, but you can email me. This is also to give me your information if you're buying something. If you want the Kirby, all I ask for is your, like your name, email, secondary method of contact, because when people don't do that, sometimes they ghost me on payments, but that's neither here nor there. But if you want to pre-order the zine, you can just click it here and I'll give you a form it'll fill out. This story just links to my eBay store. Eventually, I'm going to have a store on my website where I'll post like posters, prints, artwork, hardcovers, the stuff that is a little more cumbersome to put out at claim sales. And you can pay on a fee-free payment. And if you need to pay credit card, I can take Square, but I'd rather not because I lose money. Plus, you have to pay tax. Direct Edition Podcast has a thing. DaveEngerCon will be updated soon with the next thing. But yeah, just a one hub that you can find me at. DaveEngerCon, first weekend of April. My guest sellers are going to be Cheddar, Chris, Cheddar Comics, and Sean Japan Book Hunter, and then me. Run of show will most likely be this. I open with a sale on day 1. I close with a sale. On day 2, I open with a sale, and I close with a sale. No, it's going to be a different theme. Me and Joe are working on that. We have our ideas. We just have to figure out what that idea looks like, and that'll be mostly on Joe because he is the designer producer. I am aiming to do some very interesting things. We'll do another live drawing event, maybe one per day. I know Jeremy Heiler is already in. I think Vero Stewart is in. Vlad's in. Rob, I think Rob is in, even if he's not. I'm going to force him. It's against his will if he's not. But maybe doing some very interesting stuff. I'm going to try. So yeah, just West Coast Avengers at gmail.com. And that's what it is. And that's what it is. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm more mentally prepared. That's another thing, like with this channel. Exactly, Rob. Exactly. What? Maybe we'll get Johnson to draw. See how he feels about that. But I'm going to be tethering it to 2 charities again this year. I may be working with a new charity. I'm going to figure that out actually this weekend at OAX. I want to involve charity somewhere in the comic industry, whether that be Hero Initiative or someone else. But here's the thing with DaveEngerCon. I could do a 2-day sale by myself with no bells and whistles. Right? But the reason why I do this is to raise money for charity, then also put some artists in a spotlight, and then obviously sell books. I've worked with them before, Tyler. They're a great charity. That's how I became friends with Joe Benitez. Met him working a Hero Initiative event. So the idea of this is to raise money for charity. That is literally the idea of DaveEngerCon. The byproduct is entertaining everybody, giving a place for people to go during the weekend, and making an online con. Because here's the thing: you want to go to a Comic-Con in this country, pick one of your majors, right? Emerald City, C2E2, San Diego, New York. If you don't live in that city, flight, hotel, transportation, boom, $1,000 right there, easy, gone. Food, couple $100 for the weekend. So you're already in, like, with everything before you go to the con, price and all, ticket, you're in for $1,500. San Diego, you're probably in for $2,500 or $2,000, whatever it is, 1,000. You can sit on your ass in your own home naked and buy comics, buy art, and watch interviews for an entire weekend. And you know what I'm asking you to pay me? Zero. I would appreciate you buying a raffle ticket or 2 or 10. I appreciate you supporting me or one of the artists, but it is not required. You can make Twinkie dogs in your fucking toaster oven while smoking a joint, scratching your nether regions, and just shop and enjoy. So that's my idea for the Avenger Con. Scratch your nether regions and enjoy. But it is a big undertaking. And with that, I need reliable people to help me promote it who are taking part. And in the past, I haven't gotten that. I almost decided not to do anything for Dave EnterCon this year because I didn't want to rely on people helping me to promote. But I think I finally got Sean is a promotion machine just like I am. So, and I know Chris Cheddar is too, and these aren't lazy people. So, it's just all about getting the word out. We have had 2 great turnouts for Dave EnterCon. Unfortunately, last year I had to pivot on my plans because Eddie passed, and my 2 guests were in his immediate circle. So, this year we'll come back bigger and stronger, and I would love to be able to do something with Eddie's family as like a tribute to him. Appreciate that, Joshua. Buying a ticket, don't be butthurt about doing so. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Tyler. Tyler gets it. There he is, Ryan. By the way, if you guys didn't know, this past Friday, I did a live stream on Colossus Collector, Ryan's channel. And it was about original art along with 2 friends, Sam and Jason. And we talked about original art. It was great. It was like a 2+ hour discussion, and I had a lot of fun, And here's the thing. The other thing, we earlier tonight, I was talking about the channel and how much work it is and how much I appreciate, like, when I have somebody on and they help promote. Don't ask me to be on your YouTube channel if you're not watching this or you don't watch my content. Just don't. I spend too much time on this promoting the people that that we promote each other that watch this, to go on somebody's channel that has no idea of who I am and what I do. Just don't. It's pretty simple. So if you're watching this, that means you watch, and that means I would be happy to probably be on your channel. But if you're not watching this, don't ask me. I don't care. One day we'll get that Dave EnterCon exclusive shiny foil holographic bullshit. Had me at Nether Region. Glad God gave us fingernails so we'd have the scratching. Yeah, imagine that. Like, you have to pick up a rock to scratch your balls. Yeah, I had a great time, Ryan. I had a great time. Like, I honestly, I think you're a great dude, and I enjoy, like, the fact that you are truly interested in whatever you're interested in and love to have people on and talk about it. And you're a homie, and I'm more than happy to come on your channel whenever, because you have a great vibe. Like, you do the X-Men discussions. You have a great community of people who is a cross community. More than happy, because I am still a collector at heart. It's just that, like, this has become more of like I'm trying to grow it always. Oh yeah, thanks, Mark. I love that hat. It's just, it gets warm sometimes up there. DenderCon 100. Yes, I will definitely do, and I will do 1 acetate Turok for the auction, for the charity auction this year. Comic Tom does. Look, one day me and Tom and Tim are going to appear together somewhere. It's just going to happen. But until then, we wait. Jacob, I'm not saying no. You won't hear me say no. Damn it. Here, let's just do this. I'm going to do this. There we go. How's that? How's that? shiny foil holographic bullshit cover for Faces of Kirby 3. Maybe the hardcover, Paul? Yes. Ryan's channel's great. Ryan's great. Everything about Ryan is good vibes, especially because he's Canadian. And I'm not trying to buy Canada. I'm not trying to go to war with Canada. I would love to meet a Canadian woman and have dual citizenship. Yeah, Greg, I mean Dave Korea and Alex Party. Dave's not doing it this year, but Alex, they've been doing San Diego Comic-Con for I think like close to 3 decades, and the prices just keep going crazy and crazy. Yeah, the OA show was great. I love it. I love talking about original art, and the OAX content that I film is going to be great. Like I said, I'm not. I would love to buy more stuff, but the things that I want just too expensive for my tastes. Yeah, I got it, Dan. It should sound good now. Hell yeah, hell yeah. There we go. There we go. I'm like Aaron. If I could buy this from my landlords at some point, I would. I love this house. This might be my favorite house or place that I've ever lived outside of the house I grew up in. Honestly, it's just like perfect for me. Great. Really very yes. Does anybody have any other questions about like the side of things that I do? I felt like I didn't talk everything I wanted to talk about tonight, but it's just it becomes there's a piece of me that wants this to eventually I want to grow this so big. Don't get upset that I don't have to sell comics all the time anymore. And I think the podcast would be the way that it grows big. Like if I had my choice of this, it would be, like get the channel, the West Coast Avengers, to a point where like I do one big video every once in a while that's like a big collection, or a 3-week trip to Japan boiled down to an hour documentary, an interview with Rob Liefeld or an interview with Jim Lee, and then a sale every once in a while. And then the podcast is like, oh, Dave's interviewing fucking Neil Druckmann today. And I'm a New Yorker. Some of you I know are. I've Long Island, and I lived in Queens, worked in Manhattan. I was born having a conversation. Like my mom said that I would talk to everybody when she took me grocery shopping. I just want to have great conversations with people and like get it down on the record. And I want to talk about a wide variety of things. I wanted to, like me and Alex, a little insight into the episode that comes out next week for Direct Edition. But it's like we talked about mental health and anxiety and depression, and like using art for him, art as kind of like therapy. Like I want to have those kind of conversations. I want to talk to Trent Reznor about the making of The Fragile. These are my aspirations. I don't know if I will ever get there, but I'm not going to stop trying. I'll say that. I moved in September, 8 blocks away, still in Tacoma, bigger house. Needed to grow the business and needed more space. I needed to have the space literally that I'm in right now. And it's done wonders for me and my mental health too, and my living situation. Not that I was in a shitty house, I was just in a smaller house. And luckily for me, Tacoma is still somewhat affordable. Who knows for how much longer? Yes, Aaron. Look at this. Last of Us, right? Love Last of Us. He's a huge Pearl Jam fan, and he's a huge comic head. We have 3 things in common. Well, 2 things in common, plus he created the 3rd thing. Yes, Michael, we'll either do Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland, or all 3. But my plan is to get tickets to at least 2, if not all 3 of the Northwest shows. Yeah. 15. I've seen them like 15 times. Jalen, hello. I'm a new sub. Love your channel. Love your content. Just arrived at the hotel for OAX. Jay, I'll see you there tomorrow. Come say hi to me at the VIP thing on Friday, because you know what I look like. All right. I'll just stop making it awkward now. Thanks for subbing. I appreciate it. You will be delighted to know that it is going to be a fun experience. And if you don't have fun, I'm not going to give you your money back, because you didn't pay anything to be here. But yeah, so this new collection that I bought, you're going to see the video this weekend. I'm not bummed that I bought it. It's just going to be a lot of work to get it all out and for sale. Oh, thanks. Yeah, so the Japanese stuff is on pause for a couple weeks. We'll be doing the new collection video, and then following that will be my OAX recap, and then we'll resume. It's probably 3 or 4 more Japan videos, if not more than that left. Yes, yes. Actually, Tyler, I love it when people come up to me and go, "Where's goes the Avengers?" As long as they don't scream it at me. If they scream it at me, I'm going to scream it right back at them. Ryan, I'm not going to say you shouldn't. I'm going to say you should. OAX is a blast. It's definitely so much bigger than it was last year, and I don't mean it like by amount of but yeah, space and guests. This is a design by Dave Korea. Dave, if you're still in here, are these hoodies still available? Chime in, David. None of you would be here if it wasn't my David. Wait. Man, if I didn't have to put this on in my suitcase, I would bring this to OAX and just la 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 fucking CGC. God, what a waste of time that company is. Yes. All right, you can visit davekorea.com right there and buy one of these hoodies. Oh man, I wonder if Matt Nelson's going to be at OAX. Should ask Matt if he's there and be like, "Hey Matt, I got a question for you. How did your wait times go from being decent to what the fuck?" I I had my buddy Taj. The last submission I sent in, which was the one that I did a video of with the 9/8 newsstands, like I had like 6 different 9/8 newsstands. Of course, David. It was a split submission. It had some silver, bronze, and golden age in it. Those golden age books have now been at CGC for 75 days, and they just went into grading. I'm like, I hate grading. I don't want to support it, but once again, your buddy got to make $1. And a first solo Scrooge book is definitely going to sell a lot better in a 7.0 or a 7.5 than it would if I said it was a 7.0 or 7.5. Johnson, have a great night. Always a pleasure, my friend. But I just I don't understand that company. Whatever, it's just another company doing what they do is exploitation. And people are like, well, PSA is going to be better. Is it? Is it? Or are you just falling for the mouthpieces of PSA? But yeah, this new collection, if you are looking for anything, send me your want lists. Andy Brinning has sent me his want list. Paul, aka Razor Ramen, has sent me his want list. I do specialize in stuff that you've probably never seen before. Like I have never seen this before, and the collection has a ton of homie Jim Mafood's books. This is Sadistic Magician, one of his sketchbooks from 2007. I had never seen this before, and it was in the collection. 2016. Yeah, PSA label sucks. PSA sucks. And Tyler knew exactly what it was saying. Mm-hmm. This was in the collection. Sankiewicz. Look at that. He did a professional Natalie Portman and Jean Reno sketch. But yeah, this is his 2012 sketchbook. A lot of stuff like that in this collection. Mafood's first, his hardcover art book is in there. If anybody's looking for a copy, I now have 2. Look at that Electra. So it's not it's not a bad collection. It's just like there's a lot of stuff in there that I wish was in decent condition. I love buying collections, but the preferred collection I'd like to buy is somebody that's older, that love their comics, but like put them away. But Dave's site URL is Dave Korea Art. Oh, sorry, my bad. Dave Korea. Yeah, if you just Google him too, yes, it is Dave Korea Art. My bad. Thank you. I know who that is. I know who M is. Oh, so yeah, I'm not bummed about the collection. It's just there is a lot of work that goes into this. What you guys see is me coming fully prepared on a Wednesday, right? Wall full of books, all priced, all conditioned, all fresh bags and boards. On a typical, and I probably should do a video about this. It's just me needing to film myself is never. Hey, sugar. Uh, me filming myself doing this is not the thing that I always want to do. But let's just say I'll pull books, I'll put them in short boxes. They'll be either, stuff from a collection, stuff from my boxes of somewhat sorted stuff. Then I will sit down here, I'll put something on YouTube. I will take every book out of the bag. I'll have a stack of fresh bags, painter's tape. I'll flip through the book, make sure there's nothing dingy. I can tell when I hold a book if something would be maybe wrong with it. If it's a super minty book, I don't have to look at I don't have to look at see if the Marvel value stamp's missing or anything like that. I did fuck up once, but I will sit here. I will put them in fresh bags and boards, put the painter's tape on, write my little notes on the back, grade, maybe like something that I don't know, like if it's a key that I'm not aware of, or I had to look up what the significance of it, I'll just write a little note. But for the most part, I can remember it. So then I'll make like 4 short boxes full of fresh new inventory. And then I will sit back down at this desk, maybe Monday, all day Monday, some Sunday night, and all day Tuesday. And I will just do my research, pricing, whether it's something that I take from my comic shop in eBay and say, okay, it sells for 40 here and it sells for 30 here. Tax and shipping would make it 35 or 45, whatever. So I'll just sell it for 30. I'll sell it on the low end. This is like maybe 30 hours of work over the course of 2.5 days, plus the back end of pulling the books. And then I got a price, and then I got to make sure I write it on a post-it on the back. And then, so a lot of work goes into this. So when I get a collection that's, 25,000 books, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck did I just do? But if that collection has 10 books that are worth the price of what I paid or near what I paid, then I'm like, oh, all I got to do is move these books and make 80, 75% of my money back. And then I'm in the clear because I know the rest of the stuff's going to take care of itself over time. $20 here, 25 there, 85 here, $5 rounds, all that. And then I'm in the, I'm in the profit zone. And then the rest of the stuff can just come out naturally over the course of those weeks, months, whatever. Yeah, I have really bad handwriting. How often are you surprised by a big key that you're unaware nowadays? Dan, that's a great fucking question. And yes, Ryan, that is it's on the website, and that is the books. Yeah. Dan, that is a great question because obviously you've known me this whole time that I'm doing this. Back during COVID, where keys really were, like popping up out of nowhere, it was really interesting to see what would pop off. But nowadays, if it's a Marvel DC book, unless it's like an old DC book, like maybe something in the 60s, I might not know the significance of it. Now I know, like anything, even kind of major or midway major, I know it, top of my head. But now I'm starting to find books that have significance that are like weird shit, or they have significance because of the artist or the rareness. That's the exploration. That's fun for me to explore. And this collection has a lot of that self-published stuff, or a magazine that has like this Bollywood artwork that nobody's ever seen before anywhere else, or a hardcover that is the only time something was ever printed. So these days it happens in the lane of indie, self-published, weird stuff. Yeah, so I get surprised by books that I'm unaware of, but there's just stuff like I kind of go towards Sean's model, Japan Book Hunter. It's like I'm no longer looking for like keys. I would love to buy a collection every 6 months that's full of Marvel DC keys, gold and silver, whatever. These days, I want the stuff that you can't find because it was made once in a hardcover, and now the aftermarket on it is, $200. Case in point, in this collection, I posted a photo of it today on Instagram. I found not just all the trade paperback versions of Metal Gear Solid that IDW did, but the big fat hardcore omnibus, hardcover omnibus. It just says big block letters, Metal Gear Solid. This thing is so out of print that its average sale, the last two sales, is $220, and that's a used copy. So to me, I'd rather find more stuff like that because it's it may be a harder sale actually, because nobody's going to buy it on the sale. But I can price it and put it on eBay and it'll sell in 3 seconds if it doesn't sell here for like, 185 or whatever, or 200 or something. So art books, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely, I think as people start to get tired of, it kind of goes in line with the reel I posted of Scheme today. It's like, yeah, everybody can have their Hulk 181, their GSX, but what are you into? And I think people are going to start to explore the other stuff because spec burns you out. Buying the same old keys will burn you out because how many times can you buy the same books or look at the same books? Like, sure, everybody wants a 9.8 ASM 300, but you're not going to buy 12 copies to get that 198. It'll burn you out quick. Yes. Did I smell the guy? I haven't been to Half Price in a while. I haven't been there in like 2 or 3 weeks. The one in Tacoma just gets ransacked. They price. I don't like the way that they price stuff. We got a star. What's this? Is that the Star of David? David, is that the Star of David? Our star? Or was there a comment there that just didn't show up? But yeah, so that if I could alternate and buy, a collection here, a collection there that were different types. 2 years ago, and I don't know if you remember the video, it was like a year and a half ago. I want to say, no, it was about a year and a half ago. I bought like a 35 or 36 short box collection that ended up paying dividends over and over and over because the guy was buying variants, and because variants are the hardest thing to figure out. And Brian, I'll get to your question in a second. Early 2000s variants might be the biggest gold mine of modern comics, period, because there were books in there that I was finding a year and a half later that I would go to look up, and there was one sale for multiple hundreds of dollars because it was most recently, it was a Scotty Young Star-Lord #7. And I was like, I don't know what this book is. I almost put it in the $5 pile, but I'm like, I'm not familiar with this cover. So I go to look it up, find out it's a 1 in 500. I priced it for like $2 or $225, maybe $250, because like the ungraded sales were around $300, and nobody took a swing at it. Somebody messaged me on Instagram and ghosted me. That's probably the worst thing you could do, is ask me the price on a book and then never reply. Like, okay, fuck me, I'll just waste my own time. So I put it on eBay for, I think, $275, and I sold it for $225 within 24 hours. And that was a book that had been sitting in my Scotty Young box for a year and change. So I still discover stuff, and it's more based on rarity instead of key significance. We bought that 16K collection in 2023. It was a big step. Yes, and yes. So it was the bang bang of those two collections. It was the $16,000 collection that had the, all these keys, and it turned out that the ASM2 and it was restored. It turned out that the Marvel Spotlight 5, I think. No, not the Marvel Spotlight 5. It was the Iron Man 1 was restored. The guy was a little bit dishonest about his collection, but that being said, that collection ended up being great because of all the Silver Age great books that were in there at grades and prices that were affordable to everybody. It was like not much was super high grade. And when I'm selling raw, I prefer to sell mid grade so that y'all can afford to buy what would normally be a $900 VF book for $400 in a mid grade. Yeah, Jim, it was unfortunately a shitty surprise, but once again, like I had made my money, but then I bought that Amazing Spider-Man collection like right on the heels of it. I think it was like 2 months later, and it was because I made enough money back from that collection to comfortably spend another, I think it was like $6,000, like 2 months later. That collection ends up being like what has like given me anything luxurious over the last couple of over the last year, and being able to put marquee books out at sales. I still have a lot of it left, but it's all so high grade. I can't sell it raw. Like I can't sell it raw. It would be a stupid move. Always a pleasure, Mike. You know, I'll look, and I will get back to you and let you know what I find. So yeah, I'm definitely more comfortable in spending big chunks of change on a collection, but I also am now super experienced to know that like I am not going to pay a lot for a collection I shouldn't pay a lot for. This collection I bought this past week, I paid $3,000 for. I didn't pay too much for it, yeah, but I'm not super happy about the work that's going to go into selling it. If that makes sense. But if somebody brought me their collection and said, "Hey, look, here's what I have," and if you start going with like, "Oh, cover price tells me it's worth this," or CLZ tells me it's worth this, I'm like, no, just no, because what CLZ is hoping is that you know the condition of your books. And when people look at raw books, they're like, it's a book. How many Craigslist ads and Facebook ads have I seen? They're in great condition. And you look at the picture and it's like water damage on all the books. I'm like, great condition? So does that mean like if you have stage 4 cancer, you're in good condition? What? Anyway. Yes, I have, I think, 2 entire runs of that. They are the black borders. They're the black borders, yeah, and they're super thin. I think I've sold like 3 or 4 complete runs through the channel, and I think I have 2 complete runs, maybe one. Dude, Jacob, I have to see it. I have to go there. I have to see what's going on. I mean, I never want to own a shop, and for the multiple reasons. First of all, the retail landscape of this country has been stabbed to death. Like it's like a Julius Caesar right now, and it's really bad now. Retail is not a thing that's going to be what's the word, sustainable. The more Jeff Bezos, bends bends the knee, the more he's just going to put more people out of business. But I would buy an entire store's worth. Yeah, those are great. They're like 8 pages or something like that. Really tough to keep in good condition though. David, I think I've sold those sets for maybe like between 30 and $50 at most. The complete set. So not really. They're cool to have. I think they're undervalued and underappreciated because they are unique. And to have them in good condition, it's kind of like on the same playing field as Mark Jewelers. Like if you have a high grade Mark Jeweler, that's rare. Those things went to war. Literally, a lot of them went to war. I always thought you selling comics at the volume you do, running YouTube, having a booth at Grit City, seriously, you're stretched so thin. Yeah, Jim, I didn't do Grit City this past year because I wanted to go to Tokyo. And this year, I'm not doing SummerCon because I'm going to Heroes. It's the same weekend. I love the idea of doing cons, but the prep work that goes into it for me It's like so it's like it's a great experience, and always a profitable experience, always a emotionally like good to meet people and talk to people, but it is so much work. That's why I'm doing DaVentureCon. I don't have to leave my house, but I can prep everything and I can include a lot of people. But yeah, it's a lot of effort. The podcast, this channel, grading, pricing, selling. I don't really have much of a social life anymore, but my social life now exists in hanging out with you and then like going to Florida this week and going to Heroes and going to Tokyo. Like I don't go small, I go big. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go spend 3 weeks in another country, you know. Good morning, Billiam. I hope you had a nice sleep experience. um but yeah, this is a lot of work. I mean, I was having this talk. I talk to Dave Korea a lot, you know, phone call once a week, easy. And we talk about running our own business because what Dave does, he's an artist who also creates physical sculptures and masks and magnets and sculpts. And he does cons. And he's doing, if you go to the Oddities and Curiosities, any of those conventions throughout the West Coast and I think it's Arizona, New Mexico too, you will see Dave with a massive, awesome table of great stuff. And Dave does it all himself. He's a printmaker as well, and we talk a lot about owning our own business. You don't shut it off, but at the same time, like that's the negatives is also the positives of owning your own business. It's like you answer nobody, you get to create and put out what you want, you get to do these things, and you get to make all the decisions. So there's a price that comes with it emotionally and physically and mentally, but there's also the positive of like controlling your own destiny to a certain extent. And I've watched Dave do it for years, and it's like admirable isn't even a great word to describe it. It's something greater than that. But I love seeing people that run their own business and run it well and run it like within their personality. I do like finding I always thought about like find somebody that's like willing to be the other half and just be the comic girl, my Vanna White, but also like, you know, work with me. I don't know. I already saved 1.2 million on overhead. New Mexico, yeah, I think he's doing New Mexico in, we were just talking about it, April, March. Yes, yeah, I do this full time. This is my job, 24/7, 40,000 days a year. And I sell comics. That's what brings in the money. And then the podcast is done just on my own time and the filming and all this stuff. I hired Joe. Joe is the creator of all of the graphics on the channel. He's now editing the videos. He's going to help me shoot some stuff. It's great. Like I can afford to pay him at least this, 20 hours a week or whatever we're doing. The hopes is that it grows into something where one of these things starts paying for itself, whether the YouTube videos through monetization or the podcast. And then, like I said, I can pull back on the amount of work that I'm doing to sell books. I can bring bigger sales, better sales, and then do all these interviews and stuff I want to do. David, I don't think so. I don't. If there is, I don't know it. As weird as it sounds, but I like listening to your brain thoughts. I'm not when you sleep. You are in my head. Leo is in my head. I mean, I don't think that I have like the most unique or a super unique perspective on the world, but I think what I do excel at, if I'm able to talk about maybe something that like I'm good at, is just being able to speak my truth and speaking uh in a non-condescending way, because I find there's a lot of people out there that speak like they're important or they're better, and I'm not. I'm the farthest thing from better than anybody. I suffer from a lot of self-doubt and anxiety and fears, but I'm able to just turn it on and then like fucking eventually stop. And I like talking. I mean, I'm an OG. I love Metallica. I think Metallica's the greatest metal band of all time. But I don't know. We call Nine Inch Nails, industrial. I'm a sucker for new metal because I really got into it in the early 2000s. But I like the classics like Sabbath and Maiden. And I'm not a huge Maiden fan, but I like Maiden. Megadeth when Dave Mustaine's not crying. Uh, but Metallica will always be my OG. I want to say that I love Pantera, but I can't actually like Phil Anselmo. So rest in peace, Dimebag. I guess Vinnie Paul's no longer with us. I can't remember, but I'm not a fan of Phil Anselmo. Remember that time he went on stage and started doing Nazi salutes? Yeah, I didn't forget that one. There were a few years like the civil era where comics on a rocket ship ride to the moon prices. Oh, COVID. And prices now come back to normal. Have I taken a bath on? No, actually, Jim, I will say this: I am very good about not losing money on books. I've taken some really heavy discounts on slabs, but because I buy collections, the goal is to buy at a bulk price and make sure that the money's there, so that I never take a bath. I took a bath on one. I thought I took a bath on one collection back like almost 3 years ago. It was like bad decision on my part. They took out the Deadpool first appearance, but when I got home, um, I started looking through the books and it was like 30% more jewelers, and so eventually I made all of the money back plus, so I'm pretty good about it. Like I get really nervous. Like this collection, I'm really nervous. I was really nervous with until today. Um, but no, I'm pretty good about buying smart. And I think that's why I've gotten to the place I am, and I've gotten the trust of y'all who have bought books from me and who are entertained by this. I think there's a lot of people that understand that I'm doing this very, very methodically and not trying to spend my means too. Yes. Nothing else matters. Only gotta make sure, yeah. Yeah, Phil is a fucking head case. I remember I saw Down at Jones Beach. It was System of a Down, and maybe Meshuggah. And he would just get on stage, like, "You're a fucking bunch of pussies. I fucking hate you." And then three, like this, "I love you guys." I'm like, dude, you got to get some help, my friend. Yeah, well, that's the thing too. I think I try to sell smart and buy smart. And I think there are a lot of people that just were buying stuff and hoping that it's going to immediately go up. And that's just not how it works. It's always a bubble and it bursts. And because I dove into not just the foreign stuff, but the weird rare stuff, um, you can't lose money on that if you're buying it smart, because when something's out of print and desirable, that's it. Like the market price is the market price. Like try and find the Domu 5000 book that Sean gets every once in a while. Um, that market price doesn't go down. It just goes up. It goes on level of up, or it plateaus and then it goes up when you're talking about stuff that's out of print. Well, Bill, I trust you. You're my friend. And Bill, this weekend's video, you get a straight up shout out after I poke you with a great jab, and you get a full on shout out, not for you, just you, but your business. I did, Tyler. Thank you. Yeah. I sold Tyler a hardcover Frank Frazetta book. That it's like a $50-$60 book, and I gave him a little deal on it, but it's something that you can't find on the shelves anymore. I buy Heroes Reborn for when I run out of toilet paper. Well, just don't give yourself a Rob Liefeld paper cut in your ass. What other comic channels do I take a little time to watch? Chris Comic Tropes. I'm still have not watched every kayfabe video. I'm still finding videos that I somehow missed, but I'll always watch kayfabe. Kayfabe is like water to me. I need it to survive. But yeah, Comic Tropes, Ink Pulp. I watch both the live and Sean and Mateo's interviews. Read Your Comics, Daryl, my friend. Whenever Cheddar puts out a video, I'll watch it, but Chris has been slow. Colossus, my friend Colossus, Colossus Collector. I watch Ryan's stuff. It's interesting. I get the algorithm shows me Ryan's lives, but sometimes it doesn't show me his regular videos. David still only 35 cents. I really enjoy his channel. And that's really it. Like there's some stuff that I watch that I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's mainly Ink Pulp, Comic Tropes, Kayfabe, and then the ones that I just talked about. I saw the Melvins, Tool, and Guar. What a hell of a lineup in the same evening in LA in '92. That must have been a show. I'm trying. Like I saw Rage on the Evil Empire tour. It was one of the first like hard, really heavy shows I've been to. Like I still remember I was young. It was 14, 15, and like I got my ribs pushed into the railing all night. I had this big black and blue across my rib cage, which I wore with pride. Well, we know that, George. 9/8 lenticular bullshits, to be exact. Jesus Christ, John. You talk of Daniel Warren Johnson very highly. I've never read one of his stories. Extremity, Murder Falcon, Extremity, or Do or Powerbomb. Doesn't matter. Pick one of them. You can't go wrong. Extremity is like a waging family factions war epic, like a Mad Max, but bigger Lord of the Rings scope. Do a Powerbomb is an emotional story that has to do with wrestling, but all of Dan's stories have very emotional cores. And Murder Falcon, we're talking heavy metal, is probably the most heavy metal book that's ever been released, except maybe some Simon Bisley stuff. But goddamn, Dan, DWJ. Or you could just pick up the first Transformers trade and you'll dive right into it. Yeah, Ryan, it's weird. I know you just released a new video the other day, which didn't come across my algorithm. I saw you post about it on Instagram, but when you're live, it always pops up. Oh, you went to that tour, John? That was that very, very famous tour. See, I'm a little bit younger, or I don't know if I'm younger than you, but I didn't see Pearl Jam until '94 for the first time. And it was the week that Kurt took his own life. It was, and the last show that Dave Abruzzese played as a member of that band. Very wildly great show. Yeah, Do a Powerbomb was my first, but then right after that was Murder Falcon. Has CGC? I think so, David, but I can't be sure. If I run into Matt Nelson this weekend, I'll ask him how his bananas are. I keep hoping that some big names will grace a local Comic-Con, which actual access we can afford, like Miller or Sienkiewicz. Jim, what part of the country do you live in? Those guys, I feel like it's long past for small cons to get names like that. Like you're more likely to get current big names like Daniel Warren Johnson or something, or get like Silvestri or Larson or something. But especially with Miller, I don't think you'll see Miller outside the big like 3 or 4. That being said, Todd is doing more cons this year. Todd is doing MegaCon in February in Orlando and just announced that he's going to be at WonderCon. So you never know. Todd might show up at some of the mid-level cons too soon. Okay. All right, John. Yeah. I figured probably a couple years younger than you. Picture putting all your comics away from when your daughter is born in 2001 and then taking them out at the end of the comic boom and not knowing there was one. Yeah, you could have made some good bucks on those books in the COVID bubble. And I think I'm going to talk. Oh, you're in Seattle. Oh well. Yeah, Emerald City used to get really. I mean, the Image 25th anniversary. I was at that. That was amazing. I ran into Todd on the floor. Kirkman was there. But yeah, I get it. Yeah, it gets a lot, Sean. You just got to pick your spots and then collect stuff in trade and hardcover. What was I was just going to make a point. Okay, yeah, for this Marsh. So if you don't listen to my podcast, last season I talked a lot about the rapid decline of physical media, almost more so than it had been in the last couple of decades, and it was more focused on movies. My struggle to find a new copy of Deadpool Wolverine on Blu-ray should not have been a struggle. The movie made $1 billion. It was the biggest movie in the world, and I struggled to find a copy of it. I think we're going to see a heavy bounce back on, and it may not dip into like high-end collectibles, but I think you're going to start to see a heavy bounce back of physical media, especially with what's about to happen with this new administration coming in and all of the tech fucks like basically being able to control every piece of content we see. Buy as much physical media as you can because it's not going to be a thing. Paper's going to be more expensive. If the tariff bullshit happens, you are going to see new comic prices go 20, maybe 30% higher, which will force people to say, okay, well, if I'm not going to buy new stuff, let me go back. It's interesting because I'm a big Blu-ray movie fan, and I buy Blu-rays of the movies that I either like or stuff that I haven't seen, where it's like, oh, it's $20 to buy it. Movie tickets $15, or it's $20 or it's $17 to rent it, right? So I've been in Half Price Books a bunch, and I go to used stores to buy Blu-rays, and I'm seeing a lot of people buying a lot of Blu-rays. And I think it's only a matter of time. If there seems to be this hike in printing and paper and all that, you're going to see a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I never read Transformers. Let me go buy the trade paperback from my comic store. Or if you don't live near an LCS, you can go to Barnes and Noble. So I don't think there'll be a necessarily high collectibles comic boom, but I think people are going to fall into the dark kind of depressional weekly, what the fuck am I doing? What's happening? Let me go revisit something that I used to love. And maybe that will see a rise in comic sales again, like back issues. Oh, now. Hell yeah, John. Yeah, I've been scooping stuff. I mean, for example, I didn't see, and Bill, this might trigger Bill. I didn't see no, I didn't buy Romulus. I didn't see, this is not going to trigger Bill. I didn't see Longlegs in the theater, and I wanted to see it. And Barnes & Noble was having a sale of like 3 Blu-rays at 30% off, pick any 3, and I bought Longlegs. And for the same price as a movie ticket, I own it now, and I liked it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I'm still and we need to support comic stores, obviously, because they'll go away. But you don't need to buy new books from comic stores. You can go in and spend $60 on, like 3 trades and enjoy those, or a big omnibus, or a stack of back issues. Like, it doesn't matter what you buy from a comic store, just buy something. But I am still reading new books. Shout out to Erik Larson. Let's talk about that real quick before I get back to this. Savage Dragon 275 came out, 275 issues he's done. We love Erik on this channel. That book has more balls, or clitorises, than any other book out there. He is making Outlaw Comics, and big shout out to him. I picked up all the covers of that today because I wanted to support him and the LCS. Absolute Wonder Woman 4 came out today. Fantastic book. There are a couple of really good books coming out on the stands, though. Distraction Economy is coming. More hobbies, more collecting. Joe, I think you're right. Like, you've got 2 choices, right? We could face all of reality all the time, or we could face some reality and then also find joy in art. No more Transformers, though. No, there's only 2 genders of robots now, according to the government. Dude, I miss director's commentary, Sean. If you've never watched it, and this goes for everybody, and if you don't own Sin City on Blu-ray, there is a commentary track with Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller, and it's fucking awesome. It is awesome. Worth every penny. You can already see some of that with the 28 Days Later Blu-ray. Yeah, well, and that's the thing, Steelbook. So how about this, though, Derek? We're reaching, and I've said this before on the podcast, we're reaching, going back to the early days of VHS, where it was like, okay, Jurassic Park comes out and it's $19 or $14.95 everywhere. But like, whatever, Danny Boyle movie came out that year, maybe Trainspotting, that VHS was $62 new. And we're seeing that. We're seeing Steelbooks, we're seeing regular special edition Blu-rays going over suggested what the general MSRP is as brand new. See? There we go. Well, it might just be, they might be confusing them with hockey pucks. It is Canada. Yes, I agree. I love a trade paperback. I love a good trade paperback, even a bad one. Yeah, there you go. No, it like I said, it doesn't. You don't have to buy new floppies. You could just buy. I think we're starting to see the decline of floppies existing. Also, we should be supporting indie creators, Kickstarters. Like even if you're paying $10 for a single issue from an indie creator, do you know where that money's going? It's going into printing and then helping that person have income to create more books. Like even somebody like Jim Food, Savage Street Vigilante. I don't remember the price. I backed it at the retailer level, so I'll have 10 copies coming. But it doesn't matter. Like I know where that money's going. That makes more sense to me than buying from the big two anyway. Yes, manga has been the leader, for a long time. Rightfully so. It's better storytelling. Run for the Hills from an actor's commentary. Yeah. Well, Michael, I gotta disagree. There's a couple of Schwarzenegger ones, but the best commentary of all time, hands down, or at least top 3. Tropic Thunder. Robert Downey Jr. does not break character until the DVD commentary is finished, like he said in the movie, and he doesn't break character until the end of the Tropic Thunder commentary. That would I didn't oh I see I never owned that on DVD. That's something I would love to listen to, especially because like it's 2 completely different people, like accents. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah. Of course there's exceptions, right? Life was built on exceptions. Like no, I wouldn't even say it. But yeah, so physical media, books, comics, records, CDs are making a comeback, even though I don't know anybody like no cars have CD players anymore, but who knows? We might see the car industry get smart and say, you know what, we're going to start putting CD players back in new cars because there's a benefit to that, right? If you see that it's making a comeback and you hop on that train, maybe the Toyota starts putting CD players back into cars, they might sell more cars. Spinal Tap Criterion commentaries are great. They're in character. I've never listened to them, but I do know that. And then obviously some of the greatest commentaries can be found on the Lord of the Rings special editions. But that, obviously legendary, nobody ever outdid the Lord of the Rings extended edition extras. Like the extras on those 3 DVD sets is like 60 hours. And if you're a filmmaker, if you're a prop maker, if you're an artist, like there is something on there for everybody. It's where I discovered who Alan Lee and John Howe were and are. Alan Lee and John Howe, or especially Alan Lee, is like one of the greatest token artists of all time. And I got to meet him a couple times. Such a sweet, sweet man. The Limey commentary is great as a writer takes task for his choices. Really? Who? I remember the movie. I can't remember who wrote it. The Limey. That was what's his name? Terrence Stamp. Let's see. Oh, it was Len Dobbs. Yeah, Soderbergh directed it. Soderbergh's amazing. I buy CDs and rip them to MP3s because a lot of my music is. Derek, when I first got my first Mac back in 2005, somewhere 4, I spent like a month ripping about 700 CDs to MP3s. And most of that is still on my oldest hard drive. And I transfer a lot of it over. I should go back and put some more music on my phone. Yeah, Soderbergh. Most young people probably have no idea what a commentary even is. Sean, I do not disagree with that. You are most likely right. I used to have a discussion with my daughter about movies or shows that she liked. I would buy the hard copy when she say, "Dad, you can save $1 or $2 on digital version." Yeah, now it's you can't even say that, right? Like, oh, what streaming service is it on? Do I subscribe to that? Is it still on that streaming service? The only streaming service, honestly, that you don't really have to worry about losing stuff, which I hate to say it, is Disney. They're not selling Star Wars and they're not selling Marvel and they're not selling their stuff anytime soon. It will always be most likely on there. But I don't trust any of these streaming services, but that's just me. Bronzeville, I've watched Bronzeville once or twice. I know Como, I know Mighty. I don't. Oh, and I watch Mickey stuff sometimes. I like Mickey. I'll see Mickey this weekend, but a lot of his stuff doesn't appeal to me because it's market talk, and that's not comics. And I know Automatic. Yeah, I know most of those guys. It's just David, from my perspective, yeah, that's the one, the Conan commentary. From my perspective, and nothing against those channels, their stuff doesn't do anything for me as a comic fan. And I'm not interested in controversy. I got wrapped up in the Slabgate because I was part of, I was 50% of the people that broke that news, despite what anybody will ever say. I'm 50% of that. There is no disputing that. I have the video evidence to back that up. But I'm not interested in it. Market talk is a circle jerk, right? It's like talking about the weather, and controversy is controversy. Doesn't interest me. I'm into comics. And David, I throw no shade against anybody that watches that stuff. If that floats your boat, that floats your boat. And I like Swag. I had Swag on my podcast. I interviewed him. He has more than most people know. He's a very talented director and filmmaker. And I like him as that, a creative person. See how well the streaming services work when the power's out. Yeah, exactly. And that's why we all love books. Books are easy to read when the power's out. You just need light. And, humans have been able to create light since the dawn of fire. I have created fire. Still love me some Tom Hanks and Castaway. Great movie. Excuse me. So we're going to wrap it up soon. I got to fly out tomorrow. I'd like to get some Marvel Rivals in tonight because I am sorely addicted to that fucking game. But I'd love to get some pre-orders in for the Kirby book. They are 30 shipped alone, doing 50 matte and 50 glossy. First 50 orders come with a free Jack Kirby print from Matt Ritchie. You can just go onto my website, go on the page, send me a message, and I'll send you the information to pay. Or if you buy books from me already, you can just pay me and put in the thing like Matt copy, and I'll put you on the list and we'll get those out to you when they come in. Thought you were doing a Prometheus impression. No. Definitely not, Andrew. What am I going to talk to Matt Nelson about? Hey, Matt, remember that time you came on and pretended like you didn't know what was going on, except you knew the whole time? Nah. CGC doesn't interest me. Grading talk, I'm not interested. Marsh, don't forget to go to Disneyland and punch Mickey in the face. They love it when you do that. And then go to SeaWorld and just start screaming, "Free the whales." And they also love it when you do that. Yeah. Put me down for one and I'll get my next claim purchase. Yes. Yes. I'll buy that. Yeah, so this weekend's video is this big collection I bought, shot by resident Scar Man, Joe Scar System. I gotta say, I watched the first cut today, and it's gonna be like a 35-minute video or so. It's great. But I get like super unhinged as the video goes on. I can't do this if I'm not having fun. Like, comics are fun. There is no comics. Like, comics doesn't exist without fun, right? And if you're not having fun with comics, change something. Do something differently. Buy a book that you want to explore, or collect something that you normally wouldn't, because it's supposed to be fun. Collecting's supposed to be fun. Comics are supposed to be fun. This video is me just being super unhinged and looking through books. This Friday, 2 days, there's going to be a new video on my channel for the Friday flip through series. I still would like to occupy some of the inspiration and space that kayfabe left for me. So this is a dive into some Barry Windsor Smith stuff that you probably have never looked at before. And it kind of shows the evolution of his style in 4 consecutive comics that came out. So those things are coming next week. Direct edition, Alex Pardee. My interview with him, about an hour and 25 minutes with one of the most talented artists out there. And somebody that you've probably seen his art in different places. He did that seminal Used album. He did the cover art for that. He was an art director for them for 6-7 years. He's worked with so many great people, put out some great prints, posters, artwork. He did the Project 70 stuff with Topps during the pandemic. He did a Garbage Pail Kids set. He's great. Creator of the Brightmares. So that's coming up. I'll be back. I'll do a live stream from Florida next Wednesday, probably. Maybe my parents, the East Coast Davengers, will say hello. And then I'll be back selling the week after that, and we'll get back to the comic sales. Hell yeah. Yeah, you're going to, exactly. You're going to love this one, Trippy Dippy. But everybody, listen, I know things are weird and kind of scary right now. Not used to seeing Nazi salutes at the inauguration. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Oh, Jesus Christ, Bill, you and your Superman. But I hope that at least the couple of hours of stuff that I put on this channel every week and on Direct Edition can at least give you some reprieve, whether it's Jesus Christ, what's wrong with this guy? Or, man, I'd vote for him for president. No. But anyway, I'd appreciate it if you could, 50 people in here, hit the like button right now, right? And then on your way out, if you digest your podcast, Sean, I got you, man. I got you. You know what, Sean? You're really going to like the talk that I have with Alex, because we talk a lot about anxiety, because I suffer from it really bad on a regular basis. And, we shouldn't be fighting amongst ourselves. We should be doing what Chuck D said. We should fight the power. But it would really be a great thing if you could subscribe to my podcast. Give it a listen, give it a review or a like. It's got its YouTube channel. It's on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Not asking for anything other than a little bit of your ear holes for me to say, I want to touch you all over. No. To the night of this. Anyway, friends, I think 2 hours of me being me is good enough. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope you have a great week. Friday and Sunday video content is coming out. Don't forget to visit your local comic store and pick up what came out today that I love. Savage Dragon 275. Thank you, Leo, and thank you, Sean. Try not to get any of those paper cuts on your ass when you're wiping your ass with Heroes Reborn. But everybody, have a great night. I appreciate you all. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double bazaar. Ooh, yeah.
West Coast Avengers. West Coast Avengers.
There's only one mantra that you all need to know. That's that one over there. See Todd, bye Todd.